I felt that this lesson got off to a cracking start. I liked the way in which the choice of the pairing was left to the students and got them to communicate straight away with each other. Lots of discussion. They were very quickly on task and they discussed the chart straight into the lesson. It was really effective opening to the lesson. Lots of engagement. The teacher quickly established that nobody actually knew what the Butler model was, so that enabled her to quickly pitch the activity at the correct level. Because the teacher has carefully prepared the resources, the students were able to move on to tasks without loss of pace, and they built upon the skills that they picked up from each task, developing throughout the lesson, and this actually really improved progress. They were engaged by the task and motivated throughout to think deeper. The relationships throughout the lesson were good, not just between the teacher and the students, but also between students and each other and their peers. The way in which that they interacted with each other and listened to each other's views and shared opinions was very impressive and clearly demonstrated that this was something that had been worked on over time and showed that the quality of teaching is consistent. The resources were appropriate and they did encourage deeper thinking, and this was a particular strength. Students responded by working cooperatively, enthusiastically, and were really wanting to talk about their learning and do well. Although the video didn't actually show this in detail, the pace did drop as the students copied down the learning objectives from the board. This could have actually been prepared for them earlier and had some sheets that could have been just stuck into books rather than waste time copying down from the board. The teacher asks a lower ability C grade student to explain the task, and this shows a very clearly established routine here. And what worked particularly well was by having this student explain the task to the rest of the class, any misconceptions were actually resolved and demonstrated that if this student knew exactly what was going on, the higher attainers did as well. This was a particularly good feature at the lesson. The teacher systematically and effectively checked students' learning as she circulated throughout the groups, and this was quite a strength of the lesson. She asked very targeted questions as she circulated, and this also enables her to quickly grasp the level of learning and progress that's taking place. She used praise well, and it motivated the students and encouraged them to actually respond even better. Again, these were real strengths of the lesson. The students were clearly enjoying the activity. They liked being actively involved in their own learning, and they really made better progress because of this. On occasions, the teacher was just a bit too quick to give the answers rather than making the students think for themselves about this. And for example, there was one point where she actually asked the question, didn't wait long enough for the response, and then prompted by saying one big reason is the Olympics. Right. The whiteboard task to assess understanding shows that the majority really have grasped the main concept, but that some, and I think particularly boys in this case, actually had some gaps in their knowledge and understanding of the Butler model. It didn't really enable the teacher to accurately assess the learning that had taken place and the progress of every child in the class. Some higher attaining pupils had answers on display too soon, and so they were already showing their answers while others were still thinking of answers. This could lead to a little bit of cheating. Because the teacher links the activity to a final exam-style question, the students are able to measure their understanding in real terms, and this brought it all to life. This was a strength of the lesson again. However, there was one particular girl in the lesson who had a target grade that was actually lower than the grade she was currently on. So if I was in the lesson, I would be asking the question, how does she fit into that and what happens in that case? The teacher skillfully uses the higher attaining pupils to explain and model the key features of high quality answers, and this worked really well. It is clear that the rapid progress has been made on this topic throughout the lesson, and that the teacher double checks the impact on progress by focusing on geographical terminology at this point, so pushing even further with it, and again using things such as connectives and reinforcing this, and using the brighter, more able students to give the more articulate answers. This works very well and is clearly something that the students are used to doing. With regards to spiritual, moral, social and cultural, there were some missed opportunities in this lesson, and it could have lent itself to them, and it would be a point that I would think that the teacher could think of for future. However, in evaluation of this lesson, the strengths, it was a highly practical lesson with a variety of activities that generated high levels of enthusiasm from very engaged and motivated students. This resulted in them making exceptionally good progress. The teacher's high expectations, skillful questioning resulted in excellent progress and deeper thinking and understanding of this topic. Rapid progress made by all students because the teacher meticulously planned these sequential activities, built on the skills and understanding, and it was delivered in a lively and exciting way. The constructive feedback was of a consistently high quality when she was doing it individually or when she was doing it to the whole class, and it motivated the students even further, leading to even higher levels of engagement and interest. If there was a weakness, I would have, and I'd need to seek out further information from the teacher about this, some concerns regarding the target setting and the effectiveness of some students, particularly Maddie, and how that actually related to her. But overall, I would say that my judgments here are that achievement was outstanding, and that was as a direct result of outstanding quality of teaching. And the behaviour of pupils throughout the whole lesson was also outstanding. I think there were strengths and weaknesses in the Observer in this lesson. I feel that some of the questions were on the closed side, but yet we did get some information. We got clear information about targets, how the students were progressing towards those targets, but some questions that were just a little bit closed, for example, so you can see how this works, actually kind of close the answer rather than waiting to asking the question of how does this work would have been a bit better. And what I would have liked to have seen is the kind of understanding of the progress that was being made over time in this lesson, which was not clear. The Observer did ask some appropriate questions of the C grade targeted girl, particularly about why her target grade was actually a C and she was currently operating at an A, and this was something that would no doubt be pursued further.